You weren't even supposed to come. Dad told me to do it. Cole shrugged and grabbed my hand as my feet scrambled against the dirt walls. He kept the lid off the box until I was out. You want to look at him again? I didn't, but I looked anyway. The baby's skin was bluish and mottled, and his nose was dotted with tiny white spots that looked like pimples. But he already had hair. Beautiful dark hair with matching lashes that rested like feathers on his cheeks. He could have been sleeping. I kissed the tip of my finger and pressed it to the baby's lips before Cole hammered the lid into place. There were no clocks or calendars at the compound. We kept track of time by the seasons. It was spring. My 19th year, I think, though I can't be sure when I started to count. When Mother had gone into labor, it was still early morning cool. But by the time I was finished digging, the sun sat low on the horizon. My chest and shoulders were damp as I stretched out in the dirt next to the hole. Cole handed me the box, and as I placed it at the bottom, I felt happy for the baby again. We'd chosen a spot near the vegetable patch, right next to the path we took to pick corn and lima beans. It would be a nice place to sleep. I wish we had something to mark it with, Cole said as I patted the last of the dirt into place. We don't need anything. We'll remember. I tucked the shovel under my arm and examined my palm. Blisters bloomed across my hands. Our tiny brother was the 11th baby to come out of that small dark room. But he was the first we'd had to bury. We'd all been born there. I was the second, and Cole was the 5th. Cole had been born en caul, and that's lucky. He emerged like an egg, fully cocooned in the watery sack that held him for 9 months. My grandfather was still alive then, and he named him Nicholas because a caul bearer meant victory, a sign we were moving in the right direction. The caul had been dried and buried somewhere in the middle of our land, like a blessing. A tiny piece of coal, tasked with protecting all of us. I thought about that as I looked at my hands. Thin, shiny membranes had bubbled up to shield the wounded skin underneath. Don't break those, said Cole. He grabbed my wrist to keep me from working a grimy fingernail into one of the blisters. You'll get an infection. You have to wash them out and put a bandage on. I'll rinse them before I go to bed. Do you have soap? No? So do it inside. They won't let me back inside. He looked at me for a beat without blinking. I'll bring you soap, he said, dropping my wrist. I nodded. If I thought he'd get caught, I'd have said no. But I knew he wouldn't. Cole was like water. He could slide around no matter where you put him. The light was turning gold as we walked back to the barn, and the setting sun found every auburn streak in his dark hair. He was quiet. Normally, he never shut up. The silence was nice after such a loud day, and he seemed so lost in thought that I left him there. It was a long time before he spoke. What are you going to do now? I might work in the vegetable rows for a while. The beets are just about ready to pull. My hands will be worse tomorrow. You need to wash them with soap, and you said that already. Oh. Cole rubbed his eyes. He got headaches often, sharp, stabbing pains that arrived without warning and settled into a dull throb that lasted for hours. He opened and closed his mouth a few times. Avery? Yeah? Did you know that the baby was coming today? No. But I knew it would be soon. He stopped walking and got in front of me, so I had to stop too. I used to be able to tackle Cole to the ground with one arm, but he was nearly a full head taller than me now, the skin on his cheeks just starting to roughen. Over his shoulder, the barn was a splash of red paint against the sky.